just makes your football team overall better if you're able to get these guys back, right?
Oh, there's no doubt. There's no doubt. And, I give credit to the coaches for and those guys for stepping in. But the coaches did a great job, I think, giving them a hell of a plan. And but I thought Kevin Minter and D. Delaney both stepped in and played a heck of a ball game. And it's always the next man up. There's going to be injuries. It's just never going to stop. It's the history of the game. So, I think – knock on wood, we 3 or 4 weeks from now we get some guys back, and we could have a really good, deep, good football team.
Thanks.
We'll go to Greg Auman.
Bruce, I just want to ask you about 3rd and 1, if I can. You guys went 4 for 4 last night in 3rd and 1. Fournette had 3 of them. Obviously, Brady had the sneak at the end. You guys were the best team in the league in 3rd and 1 last year. Obviously, it's kind of an offensive line down, if you will. But just want to ask you why you think you've had the success, and also why it's so encouraging to keep getting into 3rd and 1 if you can.
Yeah, I mean that's you always want to play the game, and basically 3rd and 3 or less if you can. That's the best scenario. I think just as a group, offensive line, tight ends, backs, getting hats on hats and moving the pile. To shoot, that's the most fun there is for offensive linemen, and they take a lot of pride in it. And I probably can only think of the Super Bowl is probably the last time I think we got stopped on a 4th and inches at the goal line. But that we take great pride in that. Yeah.
Thanks.
We'll go to John Ledyard.
Bruce, obviously D. Delaney got out there, had to play a good bit in this game. I just wondering what you thought of his level of play, and if Richard Sherman can't go and Carlton and Sean still aren't back, would it be Delaney kind of starting with Ross Cockrell and with Jamel Dean?
That's yet to be determined. Pierre has had a couple of really good weeks. We kind of cross-trained him last week as a nickel and a dime. So we went with D, but D's played good for us in both games he's got in there. So yeah, I'm not afraid if it is. We'll wait and see.
That 4th and 3, I think it was, you guys went for it at the end of the game. Didn't get it, obviously, but high percentages going for it in that situation. Could you describe a little bit what happened on that play? Maybe if something went wrong, did the Eagles take something away? No,
we just missed him. And we went for the corner route and had a couple other guys that maybe could have got the ball, but they had good pressure on it, and we just didn't make the play.
Thank you.
We'll go to Joey Knight.
Coach, you mentioned last night that this was probably OJ's best game. Is he back 100% physically now? Is the rust off at this point?
I wouldn't say he's 100% where he was, but he's real close. I don't know if his 40 times the same it was, when we have all those tracking devices on him. I'm anxious to see how fast he was running last night. And he's hit a couple good ones in practice, about 18 miles an hour. So we'll wait and see.
Thanks.
We'll go back to Greg Auman.
First, you guys get up 28-7 in the second half, and obviously play calling can change a little bit when you're up big. But it seemed like Tom was throwing a lot more shorter, safer passes. I don't think Godwin had any targets in the second half. I think Mike Evans had 1 for 5 yards. We're just curious why you think things changed. Obviously, it didn't work quite as well in the last quarter and a half there.
Just the way they were playing. They were playing very, very soft zone, keeping everything in front of us. The few times we tried to hit home runs, they weren't very good plays. So it's just keep taking what they're giving you, and Tom does a great job of that.
Okay, thanks, Bruce.
Mm-hmm.
We'll go to Rick Stroud.
Bruce, can you talk about what kind of growth maybe you've seen from Jamel Dean? I mean, first of all, he caught the ball right 2 games in a row. He's got a couple interceptions. He's had a lot of pass breakups. I know he's playing a little nicked up. That's part of the process too. So as he plays more and more, I mean, what are you seeing from this kid?
Yeah, the only thing with him is just play the ball better. He gave up the one play. He got his head around such a poor throw, but he got his head around too late, and just continue to improve in that area. Great interception. He played it perfectly. And, when he's playing man to man, he's a tough cover. Now he's got those long arms, and he gets very physical with the guys. So yeah, I mean, he's getting better and better.
Thanks.
We'll go to JC Allen. If any media have questions, please raise your hand.
Hey, Bruce. Jason Pierre-Paul obviously banged up with that club, but he's seen double the snaps as Joe Tryon-Shoyinka. Is that any reason that Joe Tryon-Shoyinka is just not kind of there yet? You have more trust in JPP, and is there a concentrated effort to kind of get the rookie involved more?
Yeah, he's playing plenty. He had 20 snaps, and JPP's got a bigger resume and a better one. So Joe's he's growing as a player, and he played well last night when he had 20 opportunities.
Athletically, does he give you more of an advantage though if he's on the field compared to Jason Pierre-Paul?
Not really. Jason's pretty strong, and there's a lot more than just rushing the passer.
Thank you.
We'll go to Joey Knight.
Coach, when you went back and looked at it, what was the key containing Hurts? I mean, he got off a couple of times, but he certainly didn't break your back. What was the overriding key to kind of neutralizing him?
Yeah, I think, we had really good pressure. I thought Shaq had one of his best games. I mean, he was all over him. We just couldn't get him down a couple times. Right now we should have about 15 sacks with our hands on quarterbacks that we haven't gotten to the ground. And but yeah, I think we harassed him really well. And he hurt us a couple of times when he got out of the pocket and made a couple of plays. But I think just overall coverage wise, we did a really good job of mixing coverages and mixing the rush.
We'll go to Greg Auman.
Which just to come back to injuries, you had talked about kind of being hopeful in that 3 to 4 week window. You get Bears and Saints and then the bye. Of the guys that are hurt right now, are there any guys that you feel like aren't in play to be back by that week 10 when you start the final 9 games?
I don't know about Sean, and we're still waiting to see on Carlton, but I can't really say because they're making progress, but it's not real fast.
Okay, thank you.
We'll go to Rick Stroud.
Bruce, I think you mentioned Bowles and his plan. I think one of the players mentioned they were trying to keep, Hurts from rolling out to his right where he could hurt you throwing the ball and running. But just the resourcefulness, I mean, when you're down players, right, you can't do everything. It looks like you're keeping balls and keeping everything in front of you, but still keeping teams off the scoreboard. So how much of a juggling act has that been for Todd? How resourceful has he been with those game plans?
No, I think he's been fantastic. We still play some man, played a number of different zone coverages and blitzed them pretty good. I thought the read option was non-existent in that game. Every time I think they tried it, it lost yards. He had a great plan for that. And I can't say enough about Todd and taking the pieces that he has and putting them all together and having a hell of a game plan to win ball games. And, unfortunately, we gave up 2 50-yard penalties,
right.
or it's a different game.
And on the other side, I mean, I think you mentioned this too. Like Byron and Tom seem to be really in sync. I mean, I guess that happens over time, right? But it seems like they're starting fast. They're executing at a high level. I mean, everything you want on that side seems to be going fairly well.
Yeah, I mean, you couldn't ask for a better start in that game. I think the first 3 possessions, we finished all the drives for touchdowns, and it was that lull. Talking to Tom pregame, he's like, "Oh man, I can't wait for 2 minutes in this game." I love what our 2-minute plan is, and we go out there and we mess it up with a penalty and an interception. But I thought when we had a couple critical penalties that really set us back in the second half from a 35 to 40 point game.
Yeah. Thanks.
Last question will come from John Ledyard.
Coach, Rob Gronkowski's going to has missed 3 games now. You guys didn't put him on injured reserve. Was there kind of a thought initially that he'd be back sooner than he maybe has been? Has that recovery been a little bit slower than you guys anticipated?
Yeah, it's about where we thought it would be. And there wasn't any rush to put him on IR. And we didn't really need a roster spot at that point in time, so we're good.
Thank you.
What's up, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Tom Gronkowski Show. It's your girl, Ruth the Truth here. I'll be joined shortly by my co-host, Coach Jay Morgan. We're here to bring you a Week 6 recap of last Thursday night football game against the Philadelphia Eagles as the Tampa Bay Buccaneers travel to Lincoln Financial Stadium to face on Jalen Hurts and the Eagles. Well, welcome back, guys. Hope everyone is having a fabulous week. It's happy hump day to everybody. This is the Tom Gronkowski Show, where we talk about Tom Brady and Rob Gronkowski and their move from the Beantown to the Bay. Brought to you by Fans Only Sports Network. Do me a favor, hit the share button down below, hit the retweet button, wherever platform that you are watching it. We appreciate you being here. Subscribe to the Fans Only Sports Network YouTube page. We appreciate all the support. I'm going to bring my coach in here. Hey, Coach Jay, how you doing today?
Absolutely.
It's Wednesday. And you looking fresh. You want to show our audience what your shirt says?
Hustle.
I like it. You look great. Oh, look, the matching kicks. You know, the females are the same way. Your shoes always got to match. You always got to look on fleek. You got to stay on 1,000 whenever. So before we go into this Week 6 recap, and obviously we're going to be talking a lot more than just the Bucs. There is a lot of news going around the NFL that we will be getting down into the nitty gritty. Coach Jay, are you paying attention at all to the season opener of the NBA? No? Okay, well, I am a fan of not only football, but I love basketball as well. There's a basketball hoop hanging around my neck. So last night's performance against the LA Lakers, facing off the Golden State Warriors in LA at the Staples Center. Golden State Warriors put in that work with Klay Thompson sitting on the bench. The Lakers looked a little bit, of course, LeBron is LeBron, but Russell Westbrook only had 8 points and like 4 assists with maybe 6 rebounds. I mean, definitely killed that triple-double streak that he was on. And I want to bet. And I love it when people want to bet against the Golden State Warriors, because I never bet against Steph. And as much as LeBron is King James and this, that, and the third, you got to have all pieces working in motion. And the Golden State Warriors got it done in opening day. Not only did Golden State win, but the Milwaukee Bucks put in the work against the Brooklyn Nets, who are without Kyrie Irving because of all the debacle about the vaccine mandate. He's not joined with the team, and it's kind of unsure whether he's going to be joined with the team. So not looking good so far for the Brooklyn Nets. KD obviously had a sensational game. He's probably going to be the league MVP. I got him or James Harden to win it. James Harden didn't look like the normal Harden, but I know it'll just take a little bit of time for him to get acclimated to the speed of the NBA, because they had a good 2-3 months off. But does he?
He looks straight.
I don't think you retweet on Instagram, but I posted on my Instagram story off of the Brooklyn Nets Instagram page of him discussing with the media how he had no idea that him and KD were listed on the top 25 of the all-time greats of the NBA. There's like a list of 75 players that they put in this list, and KD and James Harden both landed in the top 25, and he was completely shocked. Would you say he should be shocked? I mean, knowing what James Harden has done so far in the league, previous MVP. What are you thinking about James Harden and him being shocked? Do you think he was just kind of playing it off, trying to be, humble when he's like, wow, really? Top 25?
Either that, or his brain is exactly how he looks. Old.
His brain's getting old.
Out. He needs to go back to Houston.
Nah, that would just cause a lot more stress, because Houston,
I ain't never seen him look like that. He looks straight. Like, I saw the clips. I didn't watch the game, but I saw the clips though today when I was at the barbershop. So I already had seen Steph Neal, like you said, LeBron, when he was walking in the back, he was like, we just gotta, next time. We'll get it next time. But Anthony Davis, he too pretty for me. LeBron should have told him straight up, you don't pick and choose when you want to play. You don't sit there and pick and choose when you want to play. Oh, I ain't playing today. No. Bye. Westbrook, if it don't work out, come to the Bulls. To the Bulls.
The Chicago Bulls are absolutely loaded. They picked up Alex Caruso. They have obviously Zach LaVine. They have DeMar DeRozan. They have Nikola Vucevic that they took the center from the Orlando Magic. I mean, who else? They picked up some really big, powerful players for the Chicago Bulls. So I'm really excited to see their first game. I think they play later on this week, so everybody's gonna be tuned into that. But back to football, because this is the show is called the Tom Gronkowski Show, because we talk about Tom Brady and Rob Gronkowski and their move from the Beantown to the Bay. So, Coach, we are still without Rob Gronkowski due to the broken ribs that he sustained. What was it? It was before the Patriots game, so I want to say it was the Rams game that he got the rib injuries, and he's been MIA ever since. He has not been put on the IR list, as you guys heard in the segment that we had of Bruce Arians' media coverage. They're not putting him on the IR list because they're very unsure whether or not he's going to be available, and they don't want to put him on the IR list because once you are on IR, you're mandatory to miss 3 weeks. So, yes, so that's something that they don't want to do. And O.J. Howard is kind of beat up as well, but congratulations to O.J. Howard for scoring his first touchdown this season after coming back for such a horrendous Achilles injury that had him MIA of most of last season. I believe it was was it the Chicago game that he got? It was early in the season that he got hurt. He finally got his first touchdown. But let's do our recap of Week 6 at Lincoln Financial Stadium against the Philadelphia Eagles. The score was 28-22. The Buccaneers are leaving that game with a win. They are 5-1 on the season. Coach Jay, let's talk about offense. Let's talk about the offensive side of the ball right now, because I know that we're going to go in depth about what happened on the defensive side. Offensively, are you impressed with how Tom Brady and his offensive weapons performed on Thursday Night Football? Primetime game.
Yes and no. Tom, he keeps holding on to the ball a little bit too long, but they end up correcting that second half, because I know he wants to keep going for the home runs, but you don't have to go for the home run every time. Just keep the chains moving. If you move the chains 10 times, I'll come out to the mathematical formula. If the chains move 10 times, 10 times 10 is 100 yards. That's a touchdown. So all you got to do is just move the chains 10 times.
I mean, and that's if you get the ball in the end zone, but usually you start at probably like the 25, 30-yard line. So, yeah, move the chains as much as possible. Tom Brady finished completed with 34 out of 42 with 297 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception with a QB rating of 102.1. I would say Brady was impressive, but we could tell that right thumb on his throwing hand was definitely bothering him. As much as people want to say that is not an issue, that it's not considered an injury. I mean, if it's something on your throwing hand, it's an injury. And as everyone knows, Tom Brady doesn't like to discuss injuries or make that any headlines. I mean, he performed in the Super Bowl and the majority of last season with a knee issue that no one had any idea about until the conclusion of the Super Bowl, is when he decided to go get things cleaned up in his knee. And that kind of took the NFL by storm, because nobody had any idea that he was dealing with any type of knee injury. Because, I mean, he's the GOAT. Obviously, he knows if he goes down with injury, that's going to be the talk of the town and a distraction in the locker room, and he doesn't want that. So he's keeping things to himself, which is a good idea. You know, keep it rolling, keep it moving. You're there for your team, and you got to do what you got to do.
That's true. That's true. The offensive line, they letting people get too close to Tom for my comfort. I don't like that.
Yeah.
It looks like the pocket is collapsing.
Right.
Tom is not a runner. He
is not a runner, but he attempted 4 rushing attempts, but he only got 1 yard. He only had 1 completed rush for 3 yards. So as much as Tom wants to play hero, it's his bread and butter is having time in that pocket, which Tristan Wirth and the other offensive linemen do a great job. We also had our Ali Marpet. No, I'm sorry. I'm forgetting his name. It's slipping me right now. Our main center, that was actually kind of iffy whether he was going to play. He was in the game and he did a phenomenal job in protection for Tom Brady. So that's important.
Yeah. Like I said, other than that, I mean, OJ Howard, this is your chance to actually show out. So you shouldn't be worried about talking about you beat up. You better be trying. The other guys beat up. So you might want to try to get you some more money. So better keep playing.
Beat up is an understatement. This injury list is pretty lengthy for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We had a couple players that were not a participant in today's practice. We have Antonio Brown that sprained an ankle, which is never good to hear. He was not a participant in practice. Levante David is still dealing with that high ankle sprain that he suffered during the Dolphins game. He was not a participant. Rob Gronkowski, obviously with the rib injuries, I believe it was a few broken ribs that he sustained. He was not a participant. We also have OJ Howard dealing with an ankle injury, not a participant in practice, and Jason Pierre-Paul with the hand injury. But a new player that that is kind of new that happened during that Eagles game is Richard Sherman, who we just signed right before week 4 when we went to Gillette Stadium to face the Patriots and won that game. Barely, but we won. Richard Sherman has sustained a hamstring injury and is unclear when his return will be. He is the starting cornerback for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, a veteran that was signed to the team after he left the 49ers and became a free agent. He is now hurt, which is something that you never want to hear because defense is already having a tough time, especially our defensive backs. Jamel Dean also had a few mishaps during the Eagles game. He had some costly penalties that put the Eagles in a position to score. I know that he had like a 45-yard penalty for a defensive pass interference for a deep ball that probably wouldn't have been caught, but it seemed like he couldn't get his head around in time, and he was getting a little too handsy. And the refs were definitely on top of calling those fouls.
That's true. What you call it? Not only that, penalties, communication.
7 penalties for 120 yards.
That's not going to win games.
It's not going to win games.
A lot of people keep telling me, oh, man, you shouldn't worry, man, because, we end up beating them and all that. I'm not worried about this game. I'm worried about the heavy hitters later on. Because if you over here got this game close, like the Bears game, honestly, we should kill them. But based on the Eagles game, I don't know how it's going to go down. I think we should kill them still, but I don't know. I don't want to just sit there and just live off of it and be like, yeah, we're going to win. Because the way we're playing, here's the thing about those ankle injuries. I had a coach that was my coach, and he told me this for years. When you have ankle injuries, obviously you are not taking care of it. We used to do dot drill. If everybody's not familiar with dot drill, it is picture you got a dice, and it's got the 5 on it. Mm-hmm. 2 at the top, 1 in the middle, 2 at the bottom. You go boom, boom, boom with your feet. This eliminates all kinds of ankle injuries. So if you got ankle injuries, you ain't doing nothing with that ladder or a dot drill. You need to do dot drill. Give me a call. I'll tell you how to do it. Because we did it every day, and it limits ankle injuries. Secondly, the other guys that ain't ripped, that's just hurt, and you're not injured, do you want to play? Come on, man. I'm tired of everybody keep saying that they hurt and they injured, man. Play ball. Are you broken or what? We're trying to win another Super Bowl. It's not going to be handed to us. People are out to kill you. So you're going to have to fight through adversity, like always, and get it done. Tom can't do everything himself. Tom, come here. You're going to have to do it.
At 44 years old, we cannot expect Tom to do everything on his own. He could only throw the ball and orchestrate the offense, but obviously he's not playing on the defensive side of the ball or special teams. So we gotta improve on those aspects.
Have to.
Yeah, absolutely. Richard Sherman is most likely not playing in this week's matchup against the Chicago Bears. I think the only thing that's kind of on our side is the Bears are very shaky on offense. I mean, we all know that they have a pretty dominant defense. They've had a dominant defense for quite some time with Khalil Mack. Would you not agree, Coach?
No. I watched them with Aaron Rodgers now. The only good part they had was when Khalil Mack finally got to Aaron, and he didn't do it often. The Bears suck. I'm sorry to all my family in my hometown. I'm sorry, but I got to tell y'all the truth. They suck. They suck because they cheap. They don't want to spend money. Fields, he rolls out. This is what kills me about athletic quarterbacks. You guys be killing me. If I am blocking for you, I got the guy in front of me. When you roll out and it's not part of the play, when you do that, he rolls out too and leaves me. Now you by yourself. No. Fields just throwing the ball up on offense, so they shaky. Defensive wise, they act like they can't stop nothing. All you got to do, since you said Khalil, if it was me, fellas, all we got to do, just stop this guy right here, Mac attack. That's it. The rest of these bums, they going to have to prove to us that they can beat us.
Yeah, Khalil Mack is on the injury list right now for the Chicago Bears. He's having issues with his foot, and he was not a participant in practice today.
He going to play. He going to play.
That's their only chance.
Yes, he's going to play. He's going to play. Ladies and gentlemen, there's a thing out there that we call a bluff, and I'm going to give you behind the scenes as a coach. Yes, even though I put that guy on that and said that he wasn't at practice or nothing like that, yeah, that was already discussed inside of the office or in the locker room. We already know the man's going to play, but we're going to tell you that so that way everybody can sit there and worry and the other team could sit there and do another game plan about somebody else. A real smart coach, no, I don't care who you tell me injured. I'm game planning for the starting 11 that I know that's going to play. If you got a backup in there, then we'll deal with him when we get there because he's a backup for a reason. But Khalil Mack, I know you're going to play. You can't play me. I know you're going to play because, for one, you ain't no punk. For two, you don't only hope that the Bears have, especially on defense. I know you're playing. If you don't play, George Halas is going to turn over in his grave right now. I know. You are going to play. I know you're going to play. We'll see you. We'll see you there, Khalil. We know you're playing.
All right, so our offensive line is going to have their work cut out for them because Khalil Mack is definitely not a force to be reckoned with. Let's talk a little bit more about the offensive weapons for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Leonard Fournette, I know you hate hearing the name, but I'm going to keep repeating. I think Lenny is finally considered regular season Lenny and not just Lombardi or playoff Lenny. He had 22 attempts for 81 yards, 2 touchdowns with his longest run of 20 yards. Ronald Jones only had 5 attempts for 20 yards with 0 touchdowns, and his longest attempt was for 9 yards. Can we finally say that Leonard Fournette is our main back? Is this fair?
Yeah, he has the stats. Yeah.
Does that pain you? Does that pain you to hear that?
I don't like Fournette. I like Rojo.
You know what? But sometimes you may be wrong, but probably not.
Hey, I may be wrong, but I doubt it. But as a coach, on the coaching standpoint, all right, if this man right here, Leonard, whatever, Leonardo, whatever he wants to call himself,
Lenny,
whatever he wants to call himself, if he on my team and he winning right now, hey, all feelings aside, you're the guy.
Right.
You're the guy. Until otherwise, you're the guy. So I can sit there all day and be like, this guy gets on my nerves. This guy's trash. This, and this. If he's sitting there and he putting up the stats, coach, you want me to play? You want me to start? Of course. I never told you to come out. I thought you wanted Rojo in. Wait till I tell you. Stay in there. Because right now, Rojo making me mad because he making me look stupid. I'm over here supporting you. And somebody call Shady McCoy. Tell him to try it again.
Shady.
Tell him to try it again.
Somebody call Shady.
God.
Yeah. Ronald Jones. I don't know. It seems like the coaching staff, including Bruce Arians, obviously, is getting kind of frustrated with Ronald Jones because he's not improving. He's making a lot of rookie mistakes. He's going into his third season? I think it's his third. Right. So it's like we can't be. Do you want a job or not? Like you're and on a weekly basis. There's a lot of roster movements going around, not only for the Buccaneers but for the whole league. So this is a week by week basis. So if you want to keep your job, you need to do right by the team and you need to put your best foot forward. And Ronald Jones has been slipping up. So I think Leonard Fournette is the real deal. I think he's going to be that main that main running back. Giovanni Bernard is a great pass catcher. in the backfield, and which is awesome. But I really think that Lenny is the real deal.
Lenny has to. Lenny, you have no choice but to be the real deal now. So
right, and when Tom
enjoy it.
Brady was obviously feeling that thumb, because we started to see it, especially coming out of the half, when he like underthrew Antonio Brown, then he threw that deep interception that kind of was very uncharacteristic for Tom Brady himself. So they started handing the ball off a lot more. And Lenny was getting it done. He was putting his best foot forward, ground and pound that whole game. And scoring 2 touchdowns, I'm pretty happy with his play.
I'm happy. He scored. We won.
Yeah. All right.
Mad.
So just a score update. If anybody is watching us and not the Knicks game, the Knicks they took the lead after there's been so many lead changes in this Celtics game, but it's 101-109. The Knicks are up. There's only 2 minutes and 40 seconds left with Knicks have the possession of the ball. After this Boston Celtics Knicks game, we also have the Devin Booker and Joker show as the Denver Nuggets travel to the Suns to take them on their opening day. So let's talk about our defensive backs. Jamel Dean made a couple mistakes, some costly penalties. Things got a little bit sloppy after coming out of the half. If I'm not mistaken, we were up by 2 touchdowns when we went to that when it was considered halftime. OJ Howard scored the first touchdown. Antonio Brown had a 23-yard pass from Tom Brady. Leonard Fournette scored a 2-yard touchdown, and then a 1-yard touchdown following. And things got a little bit quiet after that. And then we started seeing Jalen Hurts kind of rolling out of the pocket, and our front 7 was doing their best to try to put pressure on the quarterback. But Jalen Hurts, he's fast. Would you agree, Coach?
He fast, but anybody can look fast if you if you lose contain. These NFL guys, this is why I have to yell at kids, is because they watch this stuff on TV. I know ain't no defensive line coach or defensive coordinator in the league allowing guys to go and dip inside. That was Dwight Freeney's problem for the longest, because every time he dipped inside, then they just run outside. You have gaps. Later on, I'm going to show y'all gaps on X's and O's, because everybody we don't understand about gap control. Gaps. If I'm the defensive end, my gap is outside of that tackle, unless they have a tight end and then I have a linebacker that's substituting right there, but I'm still going to have the edge. When you come in on a pass rush, the goal is to make him step up so our homies can come forward and get him.
Right.
When you go in a pass rush and then you go across the tackle's face, the tackle don't care, because 2 things going to happen. 1, he's either going to wash you down the line the opposite way, or 2, he going to let you just go that way because the quarterback going to roll out and he's just going to move his body in a way that you, instead of a standard pick play that they would do in basketball. That's it. When you give up the edge, and especially with a quarterback like that, then what do you expect? He is going to take off. Remember, his offensive line really does not like him. So he has to do what he has to do anyway in order to survive. For the next day. His team don't like him.
That's a great way to put it. I know Shaquille Barrett, who hasn't been the normal Shaquille Barrett that we've noticed. He was putting a lot of pressure on Jalen Hurts, and he was having a hard time catching him. But it seemed like as soon as Hurts was getting out of the pocket is when they got in trouble. There was a lot of deep passes on 3rd down that Jalen Hurts was able to accomplish, and that is uncharacteristic for that front 7 and the pressure. The thing about our secondary, the reason why we're dealing with so many injuries when it comes to our defensive backs, that it's hurting us that the front 7 is not getting to the quarterback. BA has discussed this time and time again throughout the season, that our front 7 needs to be doing a better job so there's less pressure on our defensive backs. Would you agree?
I agree. You live by the blitz, you die by the blitz.
Absolutely. Vita Vea had a sack on Jalen Hurts, and I wish I had the video clip to show you guys, because he just completely pushed this offensive lineman out the way and completely just fell on top of Hurts, and it looked like it hurt, no pun intended. Were you impressed with Vita Vea? And I mean, how has he been doing so far this season?
I've liked that man since last season, because when he is there, then he demands a double team. For all you nose tackles out there, this is how you know if you're really a badass or not. If they got to put 2 guys on you every play, you a badass. If they got to put 3 guys on you, you are a double badass. And you have now opened up all the players on your team, because if they got 2 or 3 guys on you, that means 2 what? 1 to 2, 2 or 1 guys is open, because they got the majority on you. That's why in my defense, my 3-3-5, I tell the nose, if you're going to play nose for me, if you do not demand a double team, you ain't playing. If the center can block you by himself, you ain't playing. I need a guy that is going to demand a double team. Vita, when this man is in there, people don't even look to run through the middle, because they know what time it is. He is the ultimate gap plugger. He is the ultimate Pat, that he is going to be that one that's going to get it done throughout the middle. He threw that man. He is a man amongst boys when it comes to somebody blocking him while he's getting ready to take off. So Vita, when I'm yelling at the rest of them, not you. You stay in your gap. You're doing your job. The rest of them, they need to get their mind right so you can get you another ring.
Right. Now, when it comes to the defensive side of the ball, I always try to explain to people that, I mean, our defense was slipping up last season as well, up until after the bye week. So it just takes some time for them to really kind of dial into Todd Bowles, the defensive coordinator, and his game plans. And I mean, Devin White talked about it after the Super Bowl. He said, Todd Bowles have been preaching to us the whole scheme, the whole season. The only thing is we just finally locked in to the concepts and what he was trying to get through to us. So it takes some time. It takes a lot of, going over film, understanding offenses, their lineups, things like that. So I have faith that they will get it right. And the Buccaneers are, making some roster changes for them to be able to sustain these injuries. We had a couple signings off the practice squad. We have John. They signed a guard off the practice squad, John Molken. Molken entered the league as a college free agent with the Buccaneers in 2020, but spent the majority of the season on the practice squad. And in the beginning of the 2021 season, he was on the injured reserve, but now has been activated as of October 18th. We also had some other upgrades on our roster as well, and it's always important for the Bucs to be able to have that type of depth, because I mean, when you see it, it's like one of the most important things. It's always the next man up. Would you not say, Coach?
That's true. Next man. We don't do those drills just with 11. We do that drill with the whole team. So that way, if somebody goes down, what y'all telling me that for? Coach, this person hurt. Okay. Right. So who's next?
Yeah. So the Tampa Bay Buccaneers signed cornerback Rashard Robinson from the team's practice squad and now is on the active roster. Robinson, who is 6'2", 177 pounds, was on the Tampa Bay's game day roster in week 3 and 5 and has played 45 career games, making 18 starts in his NFL career since entering the league as a 4th-round selection, 133rd overall by the San Francisco 49ers in the 2016 NFL draft. So we're doing what we got to do to plug in those holes. With Richard Sherman going down, there's obviously some roster moves that needed to be made. In addition, the Tampa Bay signed wide receiver Jaden Mickens to the practice squad. What are they doing with Jaden? There's so much movement when it comes to Jaden. First, he was on the practice squad. Then he gets signed on the roster. Then he's, doing the punt returns. Then all of a sudden, he gets dropped. And now, a couple days later, he is signed on to the practice squad. What are the Buccaneers doing with Jaden Mickens?
They're trying to find an answer, honestly. That's what the overall ultimate plan is, the goal. We're trying to find an answer, because
where does he fit in the system?
Because we got to do something. Like I said, I'm not worried about these little teams, but I'm thinking weeks ahead. The heavy hitters, what are we going to do? Because we're going to get exploited. If we don't pick this up, we're going to get exploited real quick. And we ain't going to even be able to get no playoff if we don't get our mind right. And if we do, we might be one and done. We need to get it going.
Don't
Like,
say that, Coach. I hate that.
Tell
No, no,
tell him the
no,
truth.
la, 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 not one and
telling the
done.
truth. I tell you the truth, man. We need all now. They don't. Do they have to go one and done? No. They could easily beat everybody. Just fix that one spot. Defensive backs. That's it. That's all they got to fix. I've been saying it since last season. When they fixed it, they won the Super Bowl. This year, fix the defensive backs because the Rams have already exploited them. You're going to have to see the Rams again. Shoot, the way it is, you're going to have to see the Cardinals because they ain't let nobody come up.
Speaking of the Cardinals, who are still undefeated after winning this past weekend, I honestly don't even remember who they played, but they played a team. They played a team without their head coach, Cliff Kingsbury, who tested positive for COVID. They also had their starting center that was out. I mean, they were missing a couple pieces that were key to success, and they are still undefeated after week 6. Cardinals.
Did they play the Lions?
No, I don't. Was it the Lions? No, they played the Cleveland Browns.
The Browns.
That's who it was.
Right, because Baker got hurt.
Yeah,
Baker got hurt.
Baker got hurt, and they were trying to say that it wasn't a serious injury and that he was going to be available for Thursday Night Football. But we all knew. I mean, I saw the replay over and over, and I kind of wish I could just get that image out of my mind. And they've been replaying it on ESPN, on SportsCenter, and everywhere. It looks so bad. It looks so bad. I feel bad. It's not his throwing arm, which I guess is a little bit of good news, but it just didn't look natural the way he fell on his shoulder, and it kind of like was behind him. And even JJ Watt, as soon as he hit the ground, was like calling, he's obviously a Cardinal. He's calling over to the coaching staff like, yo, he needs help. Like, I did something. I did something bad to him. Like, I'm sorry, guys, but he's hurt.
That's that Lawrence Taylor. When he broke Theismann leg, he was like, he knew it. Hey,
so the Cardinals are the only team in the NFL that is undefeated now after winning against the Cleveland Browns 37-14. They face the Houston Texans in week 7. They go on to face the Green Bay Packers. They have the 49ers, the Panthers, the Seahawks. When do they play? They don't play the Bucs in this season, but they have my Dallas Cowboys in week 17. Shout out to the Dallas Cowboys for winning that Patriots overtime game. This shit was pretty phenomenal. Did you watch that game by any chance?
I did. It was going back and forth.
A lot of back and forth. It was kind of like the emotional roller coaster. Like, whoo, let me tell you, I was losing it. I was at a friend's house. I felt bad because it was their birthday, but I made them put on the Cowboys game because I'm like, if you want to hang out with me, then we're going to have to put the game on. So make your decision. I could go home and watch the game, or I could stay here and you could at least enjoy my company and my presence as I'm watching the game. And so that was pretty funny because they're not like huge football fans, so they got more excited with the excitement of me watching the game. So I'm glad that I gave them a little bit of birthday entertainment. So that was pretty awesome. And then right after that game, I went downtown Orlando since I was in downtown visiting friends, and I was rocking my Cowboys jersey. And I'm telling you, there were so many people like, oh, you guys got so lucky. You guys got so lucky. Like, nah, I don't want to hear that. We put in that work. We got Dak. Come on now. Like, I honestly, as much as I love Bill Belichick and his coaching ability, I really think they should have went on, I think it was 4th and 3 because they had the first possession in overtime. And it's like, you're in overtime. You got nothing to lose. Like, if you score first, you win the game. So go on 4th and 3. Like, Mac Jones is not a bad quarterback. I think he's going to be the future of that franchise. So let him throw the ball. I mean, even after the end of the 4th quarter, the defense like really, really angered me. They had their 2020. It looked like the 2020 defense all over again in that one single play when Trevon Diggs and the other safety kind of thought that they were going to intercept the ball and they completely missed it. And it ended up being a 75-yard reception and a touchdown to take the lead.
Jumping it too early.
I was like, that did not just happen. And it was literally the possession after Trevon Diggs intercepted Mac Jones to score that touchdown. So I was like, I just went from being really happy to being really sad. And it was one of those moments where I'm kind of like, okay, I hope this isn't like the old Dallas Cowboys that when they're in these tough positions, they're not going to make it happen. And then we gave, Greg the leg Greg Zerline, whatever you want to call him. I have a hard time pronouncing his name, so I'll just call him Greg the Leg. I don't like it when we depend on our kickers. I really don't. It makes it's really uneasy. I wish we had Ryan Suckup on our team, but we don't. For the Dallas Cowboys. Say again?
No kicker. I don't trust no kicker.
Especially in those like
I don't trust no kicker.
Yeah.
They be missing in 20 yards now. The only kicker in life that I trust is Adam Vinatieri. That is the only kicker.
Vinatieri back at this throwback right there.
That's the only kicker I trust is Vinatieri. I don't trust these other guys. Tucker, I seen him miss some against the Patriots when he was with the Ravens and all that, even though he has the longest one right now. But I only Adam Vinatieri. You trust. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, even an elite kicker like Max Crosby for the Green Bay Packers missed like 4 in a row. Yeah, had a lot of missed kicks in that game against Cincinnati. Or was it? No, it wasn't Cincinnati. Was it Cincinnati?
It was Cincinnati.
Yeah, Cincinnati. So, but they were able to pull away with the win with him kicking a field goal in overtime to win the game for Green Bay. Speaking of Green Bay, you wanted to talk about Aaron Rodgers and what he did to the Bears.
God, he killed them, and then he looked at their fans after he did this.
The whole belt thing.
Yeah.
As soon as he hit the pylon, he rolled, and like as soon as he came up on his knee, it was like.
And then he
don't like WWE like wrestlers do that. Doesn't that like signify like, oh, I got the belt?
I got the belt because he's signifying, and he told the crowd, told the whole stadium, I own you, and he does. He does. I know people are.
He said, I still own you.
I still own you. He is not lying. And I know people was thinking like, I can't believe this guy from Chicago is sitting over here going crazy for Aaron Rodgers like this. I don't care. It's the truth. Aaron Rodgers has owned the Bears for years, until even when they had a decent squad back with Urlacher, he owned them. He owned them. Yes, he does. And he looks like Nickelback. He does. His hair, he looked like Nickelback. Oh, every time I see Aaron, I just think of Nickelback songs. Look at this photograph.
I like the new style that he's been rocking. He's more laid back, kind of just. Yeah, I mean, but where else is he going to go? I mean, I know that he was questioned by the media following that game, whether is he going to, I don't know. I don't even know who asked him if he would play for the Bears. I'm like, I'm sorry. They just beat the Bears. They're going to be they're in the same division, and that would just be like an extreme rivalry. So I don't see that happening. But let's move on to our Week 7 our Week 7 predictions against the Chicago Bears. So the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are coming back home to the Raymond James Stadium to face off Justin Fields and the Bears, who I believe are 2-3, if I'm not mistaken.
You would see that in the videos. But my hair, oh my gosh.
Let me see. The Chicago Bears are 3-3. They are coming to the Raymond James Stadium to face the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Do we have anything to worry about? I know we're a little beat up right now. So is there any any worries for our defense right now?
The only way that the Bears could win this is if Fields if they keep letting him just run around. But even when he run around, he do boneheaded Jameis Winston stuff. He run outside, nobody open. He just throw it up, just throw a prayer. Jesus, take the wheel. That's what
take the wheel.
He just throw it up. There should be no way that we should lose this game. If we lose this game, defensive backs fired. Fire them. Fire them.
So we have Antoine Winfield Jr., who was in concussion protocol, that should be returning for the Chicago Bears game, which is a relief because he's been out since he served that concussion a few weeks ago. And obviously concussions are super, super, super. I mean, that's something you just don't play with. So we're going to take a quick commercial break. Thank you for hanging with us on the Tom Gronkowski Show. We are going to be right back.
Pharmaceutical company Prevacus says their new concussion medication Prevacol helps repair nerves and promote cell growth.
We can get the drug in the brain in less than 5 minutes. And our plan is when we get that diagnosis on the field of play, give the drug nasally, get it in the brain quickly. When it gets in the brain, it actually gets into the nucleus of your brain cells, and it reduces swelling, inflammation, and oxidative stress at the same time.
When Jake and I first talked about this many years ago, one of my first questions was, will this help me? And he goes, no, this is for treatment immediately when a concussion or you think a concussion has occurred.
Yeah.
The acute problems that exist later on in life, if we can take care of these at an early age and start getting some of these things to our children and grandchildren, and I think we can make this game, our game, football, a safer place.
And so the whole goal is we're trying to make the game safer. And so Odyssey and this drug, we believe, can be a game changer in so many different ways. Yes, on the football field, in the game of football, because that's where my passion lies, but also in the game of life.
Welcome back to the Tom Gronkowski Show. Shout out to Odyssey Group International and everything that they're doing to help these players when it comes to concussions and for them to have longevity after their NFL careers. Coach Jay, welcome back to the show. I cannot wait to watch the Devin Booker, Nikola Jokovic, and their matchup coming up at 10 o'clock. I think the game has already started. I didn't realize. Okay. So I'm sorry, guys, because I'm watching the game as I'm trying to broadcast. So when the Boston Celtics and the New York Knicks went into overtime. Right now, the Knicks are up 3 points, 122 to 125. 3 minutes left.
Derrick Rose.
Well, I'm actually very, very happy that Derrick Rose is on the Knicks. I really think that was a great move. RJ Barrett with Julius Randle. They also Evan Fournier got traded from the Boston Celtics and now is on the Knicks roster, as well as Kimball Walker, who left the Celtics and went to the Knicks as well. So great matchups to be watching right now. It's 125. Oh, never mind. The Knicks just scored another 3-pointer. So 125 to 128, 3 minutes left in overtime. We also have the Suns and Nuggets game that is also on. So make sure to be tuning in. I'm a huge NBA fan. As much as I love football I'm very passionate about, as you guys may know. But basketball was my first love. I actually played basketball and was my favorite sport to play. I mean, I got hands. I could throw a ball, so I'm great at football as well. But basketball is what I really excelled in and dreamed about playing at a professional level. But I'm really clumsy and I get hurt all the time, so it never worked out. What about for you, Coach? What was the sport that you maybe dreamed of playing when you were younger?
Football.
What position? Let's go in a little more depth. What position? What team? What team do you want to play for? Let me know.
I always wanted to play for the Bears.
The Bears?
Yeah. And then when I moved to Indianapolis and became the coach. But then as I got older and then I knew I was going to be coaching, I like coaching a lot, way more better. I always said I wanted to coach the saddest team in the NFL because I know for a fact I can get you in the playoffs. I know I can. It's just
all right. So are you going to turn things around for Jared Goff in the Detroit Lions?
I've been saying that for years. When the Lions and the Browns were trash, I used to always say I either want to go to the Browns or the Lions. I know I can get you in the playoffs. I ain't gonna let you do no boneheaded stuff. But then when I moved to Florida, that changed around, and I rather help the Dolphins.
I'm glad that you brought up the Dolphins because that's an excellent segue. The Miami Dolphins got crushed by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in Week 5, but they seem to be making some. I mean, I don't even know if you would say it's an actual thing because it's something that people have been talking about since the season before the season started, but Deshaun Watson and Tua might be making a swap-a-roo, and Deshaun Watson might be headed to the Miami Dolphins. What is your take on Deshaun Watson and the Miami Dolphins trade?
He's a sellout, a bum in my eyes, because he hasn't even been playing. I ain't about to go give no money to nobody that's been sitting there watching. His locker room don't like him. What makes you think that the locker room in Miami gonna like him? They know how you are. So that way you're telling me that if we lose a couple of games or if we've been playing the way that we've been playing, even though that you're here, you gonna sell us out too? No, you gonna sell out. No, we rather go with the kid. I'd rather keep Tua, keep the kid. Let him, the kid is happy.
Honestly, I love Tua Tagovailoa. I think he's a great quarterback, but I think the Dolphins made a mistake passing up Justin Herbert for Tua. You never want to pick up a hurt quarterback out of out of an NFL draft. That's always kind of rolling the dice. And Tua's been hurt, facing with dealing with some rib injuries, and Jacoby Brissett has been taking his place, and things have not been working out for the Dolphins, who are actually 1-5 right now. I didn't even realize that their record was that bad. They've only won one game.
They let the Jags beat them. Come on, call me. Come on, I'll be there tomorrow. Call me.
Tomorrow.
There's a BioLife in Miami.
Yeah, the only game that they've won was in week 1 when they faced the New England Patriots, and they beat the Patriots by 1 point. And there was like some kind of mishap or like a missed kick or something in that Patriots game that caused them to lose. But let's go over some week 7 matchups. So we got the Denver Broncos and the Cleveland Browns that are facing off for Thursday Night Football tomorrow night. The Broncos and the Browns are both 3-3. It was announced this morning that Baker Mayfield and that torn, what's it called? Torn labrum in his right shoulder, or not his throwing shoulder, the opposite. So it might be his right or left. I can't remember what hand that he throws with, but he's going to be out. And Case Keenum is named the starting quarterback for the Browns. How do you think that's going to end up for Teddy Bridgewater and his Broncos?
Well, Case Keenum is no punk. He's been in the show. He's won some games. He's won some important games.
Yep.
So I think that
they made it to what was it, an NFC Championship game? Well, I can't even remember what year that was. It was like 2016.
Is that when he was with the Vikings or the Rams?
Yeah, no, when he was with the Vikings.
Oh yeah.
And they beat the Saints to make it.
My God! Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
so
my God.
And then let's go over some 1 o'clock games. Let's go over some 1 o'clock games for Sunday. We have the Cincinnati Bengals and the Ravens.
I think
Who you got?
Win. I think the Bengals will win.
You think the Bengals are going to beat the Ravens?
Yeah, I'm going to take the underdog.
Wow. Even the way Lamar Jackson's been playing?
That's all we got to do is stop. That's all we got to do is just tattoo him. If we tattoo him, we good.
Wow, that's a shocker. All right, Washington football team, who are 2-4, thank God, and the Green Bay Packers, who are 5-1.
Aaron.
Aaron.
I'm taking discount double check, aka Nickelback. I'm taking him.
Discount double check.
He gonna win that. If he don't, he let him win, and he gonna tell you that at the press conference. We let him. We didn't care.
All right, the Atlanta Falcons and the Dolphins.
The Falcons.
I got the Falcons as well. I think the Miami Dolphins are just experiencing too much. I mean, apparently by the end of next week, they're supposed to be making this finalization for that Deshaun Watson trade, but I don't really know how that's going to pan out. So we got the New York Jets and the Patriots.
Dang.
I got the Patriots on the game.
Jones.
Mac Jones.
Yeah, Mac Jones. Who? Mac Jones. Who? Mac Jones. If the Patriots let the Jets beat them, Bill Belichick, your ass is fired. Period.
Will Bill Belichick ever be in the hot seat? Let's be real now.
He might.
I don't know. I think him and Robert Kraft are like this.
Tom ain't there. If they was like that, then this whole thing with Tom would have never happened. And Jimmy G would have been right. No, Bill Belichick he can get in the hot seat now. You've already given us our championships. We've already got it. So if you sitting over here and we did this thing the first year with Cam Newton, okay, cool. You had a whole offseason now, and you still showing us, hey, you gonna get up out of here. You gonna get up out of here. When you sit there and act like you untouchable, that's when you get fired. Always be on your P's and Q's, knowing that you can get replaced. And the way that they do business nowadays, shoot. You could be the franchise quarterback, head coach, whatever. They get rid of you out of nowhere. And if they can't get rid of you clean, they find something on you to get rid of you. That's how it goes.
All right, so moving on, we got the Carolina Panthers facing off the New York Giants.
I'm gonna take the Panthers. The Panthers, they just trying to get their mojo back, and the Panthers, they know what to do. They just can't be dumb and stop letting Darnold run for his life. He having flashbacks of being with the Jets again.
Yeah, no, you're right. Yo, the Panthers came off to a really quick start in the beginning. I mean, they were 3-0, and then they've lost all 3 games since facing the Cowboys in their first loss. So
sitting there got the man running for his life.
I actually have the New York Giants upsetting the Carolina Panthers. I think they're on a slump right now, and it's not looking good for them right now. All right, so we got the Kansas City Chiefs, who are 3-3, and the Tennessee Titans, who pulled off an impressive win on Monday Night Football against the Buffalo Bills. Josh Allen, why did he keep the ball on 4th and inches? I don't know. I think they were expecting him to. They didn't have their starting left guard who was out.
I mean, the Texans?
No, it's the Titans. I'm sorry.
Titans?
Yeah.
So, and who's going against the Titans now?
Kansas City.
I think the Titans might kick they pretty asses. The Kansas City Chiefs too pretty for me. That's why they be getting their asses whooped. Because they think they just show up pretty. The only person on that team that really wants to win is Kelsey.
Yeah.
That's it. That is the only guy that wants to win. Everybody else just going with the motions. Going through the motions. That's it. So I'm
and their defense is horrendous. So I think they're going to have a really tough time stopping Derrick Henry. So I have the Tennessee Titans winning that matchup against the Kansas City Chiefs. And just a score update for everybody: the Celtics and the Knicks are in double overtime. Double overtime. Woo! What an opening day for the Celtics and the Knicks. RJ Barrett just had a really, really clean look at the to the basket, scoring a nice layup over Jaylen Brown. The score is 131 to 130. The Knicks are down by 1 point, and the Celtics have the ball. There's 3 minutes and 30 seconds left in double overtime in that matchup. So far with the Denver Nuggets and the Phoenix Suns, it is 20-15. Denver Nuggets are up with 4 minutes left in their first quarter. Back to some football. The Houston Texans, who are 1-5, are going against the Cardinals, who are undefeated at 6-0. I'm taking the Cardinals in this game. J.J. Watt is returning home. Actually, I think they're playing in Arizona. So he's going to be faced with his last team, the Houston Texans. How do you think that's going to match up?
He's going to put a show on and kill him and show him.
Everybody didn't believe me when I said that J.J. Watt was going to be efficient for the Cardinals. Everybody was like, oh, he's washed up. He can't stay healthy. And I said, no, I'm telling you, it's going to be a turnaround in Arizona, and it's been exactly that. They're sitting at 6-0.
They thought J.J. Watt was washed up.
That's what people were saying. They were like, the reason why the Houston Texans just let him go and didn't even offer a trade is because they didn't see his value worth. I thought that was crazy.
No, that's crazy as hell. Because of the simple fact is J.J. Watt gets hurt because he be out there trying to do everything by himself because he has to when he was with the Texans. He was the only threat that they had. That's it. Especially when Hopkins left, he was the only threat that they had. And he didn't even play on the other side of the ball.
Exactly.
Because after that other coach was gone, he didn't get a chance to touch the other side of the ball. J.J. Watt, when he hurts himself, now if he come to me and tell me, Coach, I'm hurt, I know you are. Have a seat. That's okay. Do what you got to do to get better. Because he busts his ass 24/7 to make sure that we all are successful. So I'm not going to go against him. The same thing with his brother. The Steelers them suck right now. God, but his brother busts his ass. I really think they both should be on the same team.
Yeah.
Come on over to Arizona. Come on.
Wow, Jaylen Brown just missed a wide open dunk. That was kind of disappointing to watch. All right, so we got the Detroit Lions and the LA Rams playing in LA. Who you got?
I'm going to take Matt Stafford is going to put a show on against the Lions because he's going to show them what time it is and say, look at what I can do when I have an actual team and an offensive line.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all see this? And I'm going to throw about like 15 passes deep. That's all right with 3 guys around them, but it don't matter because I know y'all can't cover them. So, and Jared Goff going to be over there crying because he's going to be like, that used to be me. I can't believe it. I need to get rid of
You know what I heard today, and this is the first time I even heard this accusation, but the reason why Sean McVay wanted to get rid of Jared Goff in LA was because there was a group chat going around between offensive players or just general for the Rams, and Jared Goff made a stupid comment saying that he thinks that he could bag Sean McVay's wife. Today was the first time that I heard that. I didn't want to believe it because I'm like, why would somebody be so stupid to say something like that? Even the teammates, like you never, no, you don't trust nobody. You upset somebody, they gonna use that against you, and that is the reason why Sean McVay pushed Jared Goff out of the Rams locker room.
See, you can't say stuff like that, like you said, out loud. If I'm at home.
And in a text message, have you ever heard of screenshots, my friend?
See, no. If I'm at home and I'm chilling with my family members, not nobody else's family members, my family members, and I'll be, oh yeah, I guarantee I could smash Coach's wife. That's different. I ain't about to say that on the group chat and all that.
Yeah, I can't verify this is true, but that's what somebody told me today. And they're like a diehard NFL fan, and they follow all the ins and outs and all the rumors and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, well, that would make sense because I really didn't understand why they wanted to push Jared Goff out so quick, and it just seems so like out of the blue. But I mean, if I was Sean McVay and my starting quarterback said some shit like that, and I'm like, boy, you're not even winning games. Get the heck up out of here.
She can't talk to her because she would a winner. She don't even look at you because you a loser. Get out of here, man. You're really about to go lose. Trade you to the Lions. Bye. Man, say something else.
We just said bye at the same time. That was kind of funny. All right, we got the Philadelphia Eagles and the Raiders. Who you got? I have the Raiders. I know that they're going through a lot of mishap with the whole John Gruden, but I really feel like they played together as a team this last week, and they put up some points on the board, and they won a game. Who did they play again? I can't even remember. They played the Broncos and beat them by 10. So
you beat Teddy Nim, and Teddy Nim is a team. I'm taking the Raiders to kill the Eagles. Jalen Hurts is probably going to be hurt.
Jalen Hurt is getting hurt. All right, next game we have Chicago Bears and Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Who you got? I got the Bucs.
Better beat the Bears. If they don't, every defensive back, including Richard Sherman, because you were hurt, so you didn't play, fired. Bye.
Get them up out of there. All right, we got the Indianapolis Colts playing in San Francisco against the 49ers. And is Trey Lance playing right now? I think Trey Lance might be playing because I think Jared Goff. I think Jimmy Garoppolo might be hurt.
I'm taking the Colts. You can't back down on the Colts, and they got T.Y. back, a.k.a. Eugene.
T.Y. Hilton is made a comeback for the Indianapolis Colts, and Carson Wentz is healthy. So I think the Colts might pull that one out. They're sitting at 2-4 right now, so they definitely got to win some games.
They're gonna win.
The last game, that was the Sunday Night Football game, the Indianapolis Colts and San Francisco. So for Monday night, we got the New Orleans Saints against Geno Smith and the Seahawks because Russell Wilson is out due to that middle finger injury that he had surgery on. So Saints or Seahawks? Who you got?
God,
I know that's tough.
Taking the Saints.
I'm taking the Saints as well. I think
I believe in Sean Payton more than I believe in Pete Carroll. I'm still mad at him about that Super Bowl. I have nothing to say to him.
Yo, still, I'm upset too. Coach, so we got time for some X's and O's before we say goodbye to our audience?
Yeah, that's fine.
All right.
I'm going to go over gap control real quick.
Go over some gap control, and then we'll call it a night. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Tom Gronkowski Show. We appreciate you listening in for the Fans Only Sports Network. This is where we talk about Tom Brady and Gronk. Rob Gronkowski and their move from the Beantown to the Bay. My name is Ruth the Truth, and I am joined with my co-host, Coach Jay Morgan, who is going to give you a segment of X's and O's. Enjoy, everybody. Let me find your video because I love your hype video. It gets me hyped. All right, guys, tune in to this segment of X's and O's. We appreciate you being here, kicking it with us.
Talk to them boys that sat on them benches, man. I was in the game on 4th and inches. Coach, put me in the game on 4th and inches. And I'ma lead them boys at the line of scrimmage. Yeah, I see them boys all behind me winless. I ain't Mario Williams, but I'm not defenseless. Wide receiver catching Hail Marys, I'm Christian. 5 and out, hot route, yeah, switch stick shift. Gone with the quickness, fast and instant. Cornerback safeties, I burn them like incense. On the field, I'm daddy, and the ball is my infant. I don't need so much of pork, but I'm in love with the pigskin. All I really know how to do is win. Super Bowl champ, Disney World, let the kids in. Hall of Fame Wayne, I'm putting my dibs in. Catch me in the game on 4th and inches. The Empire. I don't talk.
Okay, as you can see, I've been doing a lot of work, but I ain't gonna hold y'all too long. All we're gonna do is just go over gap control, because it really irks me when people act like they don't know what gap control is. Okay, so all we're gonna do is I'm just gonna show y'all just normal stuff. Okay, gap control. So I'm gonna do it on one that I already got drawn up, or a couple I got drawn up. Here's the thing about gap control, ladies and gentlemen. Everybody has a job, okay? Like the old Bill Belichick phrase that he's been, do your job. That's it. When you are we'll say the Bucs, being an in, you have this gap right here, okay? Being the 3 tech, that is the outside shoulder of the guard. For those that don't know, the guard is the guy next to the center that snaps the ball. These are guards. Once again, you have gap control. This is what kills me. I keep seeing people will run up the field. Okay, cool. You're going to take this tackle. We're going to be there. Now, keep in mind, don't forget I said that this guy has this gap, right? This is what I've been seeing. Bucs and them guys, edge guys, run up here, then all of a sudden then dip in here. And this, now, ladies and gentlemen, you see two people in one gap, right? Because you got the 3 tech still in this gap, because he can't go over in this gap because that's the linebacker's gap. Linebacker over here got this gap right here. This guy, he has this. You can probably get away with this sometimes. I don't recommend it, because if you got a linebacker that's right there back and you got a guy that comes in, that's fine because he's back here. But if he's rushing, then it has to be a twist or something that's going on. As far as this right here, when you have the 5 and the 3 on the same side, the 5 is supposed to stay outside. The 3 is supposed to stay on the outside of the guard. But I keep seeing this, and this is why Hurts was actually looking good, is because we have the end coming in, boom. Then all of a sudden, I don't know who told him to do this. He dips inside. Every time he dipped inside, he either ran into the back of his own player, and then Hurts now, because any offensive tackle is lazy, he's going to be like, okay, I'm just going to stand right here, pick, and then Hurts runs outside. And that's when he was getting the most yards. So what I'm saying to people is stay in your gap. Gap control. Stay in the gap. Stay in your gap, your lane, okay, right here. This is what I was talking about earlier. If you have a tight end or so you will have, let's see, I even do it, we'll say we have the ends out here, and we have our tackle right here, a nose right here, and we have another end right here. Since they have a tight end right there, some people, they put the end out on the 9 or 7, they'll call it, because they have a backer that's going to take the inside gap down. With that being said, he has to stay on the outside, because if he goes outside, then dips in, and this linebacker does not move outside and stays right here in this gap, 2 guys in 1 gap, it does not work. This is how you keep people in check. got a guy right here, got a guy right here. Okay, boom. I'm going to have in, and I'm going to have a tackle over here, a nose right here, and another in right here. Keep him in check. It's because all gaps are covered. He can't do nothing. And technically, that means I have an extra guy. That guy, he sits. He sits and waits. Because now, if he does his job, he does his job, and this guy does his job, and he does his job. Now we have a backer right here, a backer right here. There is nowhere to go. He's not going to be able to run outside because there's two guys that's collapsing. Boom. That's how it should look. Boom, 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 boom. If he tries to run, then they'll say he's scared to come outside because there's nowhere to go. And that's all I'm going to give y'all tonight is stay in your gap. Gap control, gaps, gap control, win you the game. Back to you, Ruth.
Gap control is very, very important when it comes to applying a pressure on the opposing quarterback. We got to do a better job for that front seven to, kind of lay off on our secondary that is obviously beat up. We're having a lot of moving pieces in that secondary position. I'm hoping Antoine Winfield Jr. is going to be making a return after completing concussion protocol, but we'll see how that goes. Richard Sherman is going to be out with a hamstring injury, and yeah, there's the injury list just keeps piling up. Carlton Davis, if I'm not mistaken, should be returning soon as well. I did not see him on the injury list, but I'm going to double check before I give you any wrong information. Coach Jay, do you have any final thoughts before we wrap up tonight's episode so I can hop on this game that's okay, so the Knicks pulled up a double overtime win over the Boston Celtics at Madison Square Garden. Evan Fournier had a last second 3-point that gave them the lead, and they have officially won that game. But do you have any final thoughts before we say goodbye to our audience?
Let's just pull it together and just do the little things right, because the little things is what make a big difference for the bigger picture.
Absolutely. Carlton Davis is not on the injury report for the Buccaneers, which is good news. So we're hoping to have him back in that cornerback position. But that is all for us tonight. Everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. I apologize for any Facebook interruptions that we might have had. I have a few friends that said that they couldn't watch our show live. But don't worry, it's going to be posted up on YouTube. It's going to be posted up on the Fans Only Sports Network Facebook page, so you'll have a chance to watch it. And make sure to follow me on Twitter on Root the Truth with 3 H's at the end, and Coach J Morgan at Coach J Morgan 55 on Twitter. Give us a follow and we'll give you a follow back. We're also on Instagram as well. What is your Instagram handle?
The Instagram is the first one. The Twitter is the second one.
All right. So Coach J Morgan 55 is his Instagram handle, and Coach J Morgan 1 is his Twitter handle. Make sure to give us a follow. We'll give you a follow back. But that is all for us tonight. We appreciate you guys tuning in to the Tom Gronkowski Show, and we will see you guys next Wednesday. Good luck to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who are going to be facing off at a 4 o'clock game against the Chicago Bears. Everyone, enjoy your night.